Hello and welcome to this Astranti YouTube video in which I'm going to be talking about quite a key specific industry example that you could use in your strategic case study exam for the courier organization run. And if you like this video and you want to see more, then please do like the video and subscribe at the bottom of the screen, or visit the website www.astranti.com. And this particular example relates to a man called Andrew Boxer. And this is quite symptomatic, this whole example, of the growth of the gig economy since the recession over 10 years ago now, where people are doing things on a freelance basis. And the whole idea of being a freelancer sounds tempting. You have the ability to work when you want, to make your own hours, to be your own boss, all this sort of thing. But organizations, and actual organizations within the real courier industry like DPD and Hermes, have almost in a sense started exploiting this by hiring freelance couriers and having them deliver parcels for them. And often freelance couriers, they have to provide their own van. So of course then DPD and Hermes run, if they were to do something like this, wouldn't be in a position to have to pay for the van. But the problem with this is it's come under a lot of scrutiny under UK employment law. And the fact is that in many of these cases, individuals are being treated like employees, but they are not given the protection, they are not given all the different rights that come with being an employee. So what the issue is here is that you are almost exploiting a loophole within employment law. Rather than give them an employment contract, you can just say, oh, you're a freelancer, but we'll make you work, X amount of time. We'll demand that you have to work this amount of time and you have to do these particular hours, etc. But we can get rid of you at a moment's notice because you're not an employee. We don't have to give you 30 days notice. You're just a freelance contractor, and we just decided we're not going to contract with you anymore. So the issue here, particularly with regards to ethics, is this fair? Are you mistreating an individual by doing this? And what Andrew Boxer felt was that he had actually been treated like an employee, and therefore he was, in the eyes of the law, an employee and entitled to minimum wage and holiday pay, which the tribunal actually agreed. And so as a result, DPD and Hermes, they actually lost out anyway, or the company that Andrew Boxer worked for lost out. They had to pay like a employee, which leads you to think, well, why don't they just have them as employees in the first place? Because this story also brought a lot of negative attention. And the reason why I brought it up is because in the pre-scene, it regularly mentioned about the importance of staff and the importance of the organization as wanting to be seen as someone that was quite ethical, a company that was socially responsible. And staff came up as a big risk within the pre-scene. There were several mentions of it. There was the risk that staff would feel that they'd been mistreated, that if staff were to react negatively, if they were to go on strike, etc., then it would cause a huge breakdown with the organization because of the wheel and spoke system in which the organization uses to conduct its business, conduct its operations. And so some of you might be thinking, well, a good way of getting around some of these issues would be to bring on freelance staff members, because I've heard that freelance staff members are very popular in organizations like this, and that could get around some of the risks. And I understand why you would think that. But the reason why I'm producing this video now, the reason why we're looking at this example, is because there is a huge inherent risk with doing that, as well as this story mentions. And I've tied it all up here with a nice paragraph that references the risk of staff shortages here at Run and proposes the whole idea of a freelance driver to solve this issue, but also bringing in the potential legal ramifications, the potential ethical issues, and how it also relates to our own company and how we want to be a company that cares for stakeholders, and we'd be breaking one of our own values if we were to do that, whilst also mentioning the legal ramifications for gig economy drivers. And this paragraph is a really good one, and it would get you a mark in the exam if you were to write this, because it does mention the issue at hand. It mentions the issue being the staff shortage and the potential staff operations, which was in the risk report. It also mentions a good way of working around that, proposing a way of working around that by using freelance drivers. Also mentions the values of the organization, and it mentions the industry example itself. So it mentions Andrew Boxer, and it mentions the potential consequences, the legal ramifications. So you've got one paragraph here that you can bring up that hits all the right notes that the examiner is looking for. It's applied, it's referencing a real life example, it's referencing not just the specific issue at hand and the risk of the specific issue at hand, but also the greater picture in terms of the values of the organization, which is how you as a senior manager should be thinking. So I really hope that you find this example useful, and it's something that if you haven't seen already, that you can take forward and use in your own analysis, and potentially even use in your exam to get you a mark. So thank you very much for watching this short video. Hope you have enjoyed it and found it useful. Hope you can now use this paragraph hopefully in your exam. Remember that it does hit those right notes. It does apply the pre-scene, it does apply the risks, it does apply the values of the organization, and also uses an actual external example from the industry, which the examiner has specifically stated in the examiner reports they would like to see more of. So for you, if you'd like to see more of these videos, then please like or subscribe to the video, and best of luck with your exam.